So gratitude again is a mind that can be developed by seeing how good our situation is and by understanding that it will not last. Yeah. So these are two contemplations in your spiritual practice are very, very important so that it gets us going. Not out of guilt, not out of fear, but because we want to use the time that we have in order then, when the time of death comes, to die without regret. Okay? Okay. So coming back to love, so the definition of love in Buddhism is wanting others to be happy. This love is unconditional and it requires a lot of courage and acceptance, including self-acceptance. If you cannot accept the way you are, you will only love people who are nice to you and kind to you and fulfill your needs. The moment you start to see their negative side, you will not love them anymore. You will actually want to separate from them. And most of our love is the spontaneous love. Most of it is in this way. So if you have dislike for somebody, be happy. Because you can transform it into pure love. Because when first dislike comes up, and you work with it to kind of release that dislike, naturally love will come. And then that love is stable because it's not based on conditions that this person is a nice person. Do you understand what I mean? But our lazy ego mind doesn't want to do that. It wants to only love people who are easy to love. Isn't it? Transforming aversion against somebody, why would I do that? Very often this question comes, why should I love somebody who is not kind to me? Well, you should not. Nobody says you should, but you could. Yeah? And again, love is a mind who wants the person to be happy. The person can be miles away from you. It doesn't matter. If the person is really dangerous to you, you keep away from them. It's fine. If they hate you, if they don't like you, it's fine. But instead of closing up and then suffering because of that closed heart and becoming aggressive also, you open up. You wish the person well. Not into their face, but just by when you see them, first of all, notice your closed heart and see how you suffer because of that. And then you can open it by thinking, may you be happy, may you be well, the other one. Or first with you, may I be able to open up my heart towards that person. As we said at the beginning, even though it's Christian, but we can use it, it is good to learn to love the ones who don't deserve it, because they need it the most. And a mother who has a very aggressive child, she would never go into hate. That love stays, and maybe with that love, she will be able to change the child, make the child less aggressive. Maybe. Most probably not. But she will never give up wanting happiness for that child. So if we can do it for one person, or a few persons that we call mine, that means we can also do it for other people and expand it so that the heart is open towards everybody. But it doesn't mean you're not keeping away from dangerous people. You just don't wish them any harmful things to happen. Yeah. Now the attached love, which that's what we very often mistake it for, is very selective. As I said, it has a lot of expectations. Did you talk a little bit about disappointments that you had with so-called friends? In the discussion group or in the meditation, when we did the meditation? Did you talk a little bit about it? Did you see where the disappointment comes from? Where does it come from? Because that other person is so bad? Or where does it come from? We have, this is another thing. We have high expectations that are unnoticed of somebody that I call my friend. Sometimes they don't even know it. Sometimes people present me to other people. This is Annie Losang or Annie Rita. She is my friend. And then I go, oh, I didn't know. But the moment they think that I'm their friend, then they think when she's my friend, when I need her, she should come. And she should always be nice to me, and she should always recognize me, and she should always be this and this and this. Now, and I can see it in people's faces sometimes, you know, they come full of, oh, I'm so happy to see you. And I meet like thousands of people, and my memory is going worse and worse and worse. I have no clue where I know them from. Yeah? And I see that just that is hurtful, because they like me. Huh? What do I do? Well, if I think the person is ready to hear it, I said, look, I'm sorry, I have no clue where I met you, but I'm very happy to meet you now, because it's true. I'm not unhappy meeting them. You see, again, the moment I feel that I need to recognize them for them to be happy, I'm not happy meeting them, because I'm being put under pressure. Yeah. So then, when I feel that person is not ready to take that, I don't remember where I know them from, then I start to talk to them, and then I start to kind of think, okay, accent is from this country, so okay, this, that, so sometimes it comes back, sometimes, but very often not, and then, you know, then we depart, and I still don't know who the person is, and I feel like a total fake when I do that. I feel like a total fake. But I still sometimes don't have the courage to just say, look, I'm sorry, I don't know where I know you from, but it doesn't matter, I'm happy to meet you now. Yeah? So maybe we can start like honest communication. So when you have friends, you expect them to always remember you. You know, some people I remember, some people I remember their faces or whatever, but I forgot where I met them, and I forgot their names, especially if I meet them in another place, if I meet them at the teachings of the Dalai Lama or something like that. Yeah. So that would be that kind of disattached friendship where we have a lot of expectations, like, and then we get hurt.
Or they get hurt. You don't want to hurt anyone sometimes.
We cannot sail through life without hurting anyone. But the intention should not be there. Yeah? The intention when I have to tell somebody, look, sorry, I don't know where I met you, the intention when I say it is definitely not to hurt them. Yeah, but this is what I mean. So, you see, again, this is not a kind of a handbook how to behave so that nobody gets hurt. This is a handbook how to have an open heart. That's it. Yeah, but what we would like to do, and again, why is it that we don't want to hurt others? Again, when we look very deeply, why do we not want to hurt others? Exactly. So that's again, it's based on me, it's not based on them. I don't care about them. As long as they like me, okay. You know? So again, it goes into attached love. And most of our open heart, which comes spontaneous like that, this is what we have to be careful, is this attached love. And it's the desire to be loved. It's the desire to be acknowledged. It's the desire to be safe. So that desire is actually good. Yeah. So you see, when we talk about this, when I said yesterday, these negative emotions, some of them have positive sides. Because desire, one thing is it wakes us up. We want something. We feel that something is lacking. It's a pull, it's a push, you know. Instead of just being at home, I'm being content. But not being alive, not being open, not being vibrant. We're kind of bored. Yeah. Okay, I'm so content. Oh, I have everything I need, so why should I care? Why should I worry? That's not the kind of contentment that you want. You want to use that contentment to be open. So desire can help you open up. Desire says yes to life. Desire looks for happiness, and desire makes you make contact. So these are the positive sides of desire. Yeah. Now, if you can take out first of all, to look, is my desire searching in the right place? Okay, my desire is searching maybe in the place of relationship. So why do I want a relationship? These are very serious questions that you have to ask yourself. Do I want a relationship because I want to make somebody else happy, because I think I have a lot of goodness to give? Or do I want a relationship because I'm lonely and I feel that there is a lack here? And with the relationship, I'm trying to fill this hole or this emptiness. If that is the reason for starting a relationship, and you make the other person responsible for filling up that hole, that relationship from the beginning is in danger. It will not last. Because nobody is able to fill that hole. You're the only one who can fill that hole. You're the only one. With contentment, open heart, loving yourself the way you are, knowing that we have negative sides and working with them, saying, hey, look, I'm trying, it's okay. From time to time, asking others, do you think I'm honestly trying or am I just faking here? You will feel it. You will feel whether you're honestly trying or whether you're just faking it. And stop pushing yourself like this. It takes a long time to transform. Yeah? But the more you can accept yourself the way you are, the more relaxed you become and the more the goodness will shine through. Yeah? The more you try to be special and complicated and seen by everybody and I don't know what, the more you set yourself up for failure. Yeah? So whereas if you think, oh, I have this ability to develop a good heart, let somebody benefit from that. Then you have a good, then you get your, every time you meet somebody, you get your antennas, heart antennas out, and you start to look, what can I do for this other person? But not in order to get something back. Cut it there. Stop there. What can I do for the other person? Stop there. And see what it does to you. Then the fear comes. Whoa, nothing will come back. Not sure, if that fear is justified. You're only afraid of nothing coming back when you want something back. If you just do it for the sake of, as you said, we don't want to hurt others. We say we don't want to hurt others because it hurts. They hurt when we hurt them. It's not really the reason. Yeah? The reason is because we're afraid that they maybe drop us and they don't love it anymore. But we can change that attitude. You see, all these attitudes, they're good. We don't want to hurt others. Why? Because I'm hurting myself. It's the first thing. Because I feel bad about this. Yeah? Maybe we'll do a reflection on that, how it feels when we harm others and when we help them. Okay? So, if our desire is not paired with the fixation and wanting to possess, because that is what desire is doing. It wants to possess, it wants to control. Yeah? If it's not paired with that, your kind of relationship can become totally stress-free and joyful. But the moment that creeps in, he or she should behave like this or like that, then there's problems. And when there's a lot of attachment, there's also a lot of aversion to the opposite of what you are attached to. So it comes in a dual pack. Yeah, these two mental factors, they're like a pair. And very often we think that if we don't have attachment, if we don't have a desire, then we cannot enjoy things anymore. You can enjoy them much better, maybe not in a Yahoo way, but in a very quiet, peaceful, open way. Because there's no fear of losing it, because you can survive even if the pleasure is gone. We can enjoy things in a much better way when we're not attached, because with attachment there is always fear of loss. So 3 ways to deal with kind of exaggerated desire. You know, not every, this is why I'm calling it exaggerated now, because not every wish to do something or to have something is sick or is no good. You can start by calling it like different names. In Buddhism we call them different names. Like there is an aspiration wanting something that really leads to happiness. And what they would say leads to happiness is a mind that is free, for example, from tensions. If the mind is relaxed, desire has very little chance because you're content. Relaxation comes with contentment. But how can you relax the mind? How? Asking you. By telling it to relax. Come on, relax. I am relaxed. You know? Have you ever noticed that when somebody's really tense and you just tell them, it's okay, relax. I am relaxed. How can you relax the mind?
Concentrate on the body.
Meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Learn to relax the body first. I don't know if it helps when what we did with the out breath, you let go, you go to that area, and you just think everything opens up. Have you noticed that it helps? It goes, yeah, if it doesn't go, then you need to continue to do it. It's training. Do you think it would create a relaxed mind when you come home in the evening, when you can think, wow, today I didn't hurt anybody? Because maybe you can think that now. Most of you, at least you didn't hurt me. I hope I didn't hurt you. So, if you really haven't hurt anybody today, because also you don't have your telephones, you're not writing any WhatsApps, because with this it's like there's a lot of hurt. Because we mean something in a funny way, the other person on the other end takes it in a different way. Whoa, you know, whole dramas can come out of one sentence sometimes, or one picture, or whatever. So if you really think that, you know, do you think you can think honestly, today until now haven't hurt anybody? Think that thought, just for 2-3 seconds. Connect with that thought. Again, don't look at me, you haven't hurt me. Look inside. What are you so afraid of? And to this we have access all the time if we don't hurt anybody. How does it make you feel when you think that? For those people who maybe thought this now for the first time. Huh? Good, exactly. Relaxed, good. Relaxed equal good. Open, spacious.
I don't know because I think my mother always thinks that I hurt her when I'm not calling or something.
Yeah.
Then what am I supposed to do?
By understanding that your mother also has to learn to live without you calling every day. You know? And by sending thoughts like, may she be happy. May she not be hurt by me not calling. Then you are in touch with your love and with your open heart, instead with your guilt. Oh, she will be angry at me because I didn't call her. That doesn't help, because guilt closes the heart. Guilt makes you a horrible person, by the way. Guilt is no good. Regret about having done something. So you explain to your mom. You say, look, Mom, I'm in a, you don't have to say seminar. I'm here, I'm doing something this weekend. They ask us not to use the telephone, but if there's a need, there is a number where you can call if there's a real need, and then you can call. We can explain things. And what we can do also, when you have children, you need to negotiate with them. You know, you say, okay, you let me go to that retreat, or your mom, I'm going to that retreat, but I want to repay that kindness. So I will do something for you that I usually don't like doing, and this will be your gift. Then if your mom, if it creates some contentment in her heart, fine, she will accept the gift. Maybe she will not. Then there's nothing you can do. But don't give up trying. And you see, when we talk about, because you're also shaking your head. Why did you shake your head?
it's strange because I have my youngest child is 10 years old, and it was the most difficult thing for her was that I cannot be in contact with her, and she and when I sent last message that I felt like is like small death, and it's a kind of practice that it's good for her and for me to make. Not I don't believe that I have to give. I mean, there's no gift that I need to give because I left. I mean, not material gift, but it's a kind of exercise that it's
But
good.
still, I mean, still we can have the readiness to give a gift, because if they let us go, well, we want to make up for it. That's okay. Again, not in a you see it in a too materialistic way. Not in a materialistic way. The readiness, when you say you have love, what is love? Giving a gift that the person wants is love. Making up for it is love. But then there are, as you say, there are people who whatever you do with them, whatever you give them, they're never content. Why? Because a mind that is full of desire and thinks she will be happy because you call every day. Is she any happier when you call every day? No, come on. Is she? No, exactly. So you see, if we start to understand that the mind that desires cannot find happiness because it projects happiness in the wrong object. My daughter calling me every day, that will make me happy. I mean, what did people do when there were no mobile phones? We survived. You grew up. Yeah? We become totally dependent on that. Yeah? Of course it's creating a short moment of happiness when you call her and you say, Mom, I love you. But it also makes very, very dependent. Yeah? Now the thing with the gift, it was just a suggestion that you could do, you know. You trade something. And you honor that other people give you some space also, give you some freedom. You make up for it. Why not? Yeah?
But when you see that she's suffering, the mother,
Yeah.
and you cannot help her really,
Yeah.
that's the suffering.
That's the suffering. Then the difficulty is to keep the heart open. To keep the heart open. May she be well, may she be happy. Just these thoughts. Sending her,
Yourself.
yeah, for you. Sending her a lot of love. To accept her uncontent, unhappy, the way she is. That's the most difficult thing. Especially if people are very close to us. Because there is this love. We want to make them happy. But we can use them as, used is not such a nice word, but we can take it to see that this person is looking in the wrong place for happiness. And then we use that for ourselves to see we're doing the same thing. And then to say, I don't want to become like them. Now I still have the chance to look for happiness in different places. And then we start to recognize our own unhealthy desires and projections. Yeah?
And the desire is to help her to be happy.
If you
the
can.
Opposite, if it's the opposite, like I'm the mother and she is the daughter.
Yeah.
So my desire is to help her
To be happy. Yeah.
But she cannot.
She cannot take it.
No, she's not.
She's not accepting it.
Yes.
This
She
is
doesn't look on the right direction. That's what I'm saying. She's looking
Yeah.
someone else to fill her hole.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
This is hard for me.
This is very hard. It's very difficult. It can be your mother, it can be your daughter, it can be your son, it can be a friend. So the only thing that we can do is not to give up and to really understand. If I would be the Dalai Lama now, maybe I would have some influence over her. But because I'm the mother, I have absolutely no influence. Because why? Because how old is she?
24.
24. Okay. She will maybe mature at one point. And does she have children?
No.
Not yet. Okay. So if she then at one point
She's looking outside.
If at one point she has children, hopefully she's not going to have children because she's unhappy to make, to have more happiness with the children. But that would be something where she would open up towards your help a little bit because she will need you. Yeah. When we start to recognize how dependent we are on others, then we open up. As long as we think, oh, I don't need you. And children usually don't want to be like their parents. They want to find their own identity. And sometimes you see this habit, you can see it in her maybe, this habit of looking in the wrong place has become so deep that it's very, very difficult for her to look in another place. So then again, you are not the right person to tell her what she should do. It has to be somebody neutral. Yeah. Because sometimes we can also see that people, they want to be right, but then they find out that they're wrong, but still they go in the same direction just to prove you that you were not right. Again, it went through three corners. Do you see what I mean? It's very difficult to admit that we have been looking in the wrong place.
She doesn't know it about even. She sees the example at home and she wants to be far away from it. The last thing that, like you say, that it's the last thing she wants to be like me.
Yeah.
Looking inside.
Yeah.
So she's looking outside for solutions.
Of course.
So,
yeah.
And I'm not the one that can tell her that.
No, you can't. You cannot. So, best is
That's
to.
what hurts.
Huh?
That's what hurts.
That's what hurts. Okay, so you have to be very humble and say, okay, I am on this Buddhist path. One day I will be a Buddha. Then she will not be able to hurt me anymore. What hurts there is not your loving heart, because
She doesn't hurt me. I'm hurting myself.
but she hurts you by not accepting what you were saying.
No, I didn't say anything. The desire to help her
Yeah.
hurts me.
Okay.
Hurts me.
So then the desire to help her might be a bit arrogant by seeing that just a wish to help somebody else is not realistic sometimes. And this is why on this path we recognize, as long as I'm still in this cycle of existence, I can have a wish to help others, and that wish is very good, but I don't really know how to help them. So you see, maybe she sees you as perfect and she is not, because you know how to deal with things and how to deal with the mind and all that. That is, then there's some kind of jealousy coming up. So maybe the best thing is that you start to show your weaknesses instead of constantly showing her your strength and your wisdom. Okay, good. Maybe that helps, maybe not. You see, I had a difficult relationship with my mother, so I didn't want to have children. That was one thing, because I thought, oh no, thank you. And I was not able to, maybe that will help you so that you don't hurt so much. I had this aversion towards my mother. There is nothing I could do, and it's thanks to Buddhism only I could dissolve it. Although I felt really bad about rejecting my mother again and again and again and again. Whenever she said red, I said blue. Whenever she said this is good, I said, no, this is not good. And she really got on my nerves. I got nervous around my mother, and it was so strong that what I did, I left home when I was 15. I could put this in a very nice light and say because I didn't want to hurt her anymore. It's not that. It's because I couldn't stand her. To be honest. That is an uncontrolled mind who has no tools to be able to, as you said, accept that negative mind, so finally we can let go. Yeah. A mind that has no awareness of seeing how I hurt myself by rejecting my mother. Then in my first 10-day, what was it, a month ago? No, it was, I think, my first 10-day Buddhist course in Kopan. I heard the sentence, if your mother would have left you alone when you were a baby, just for 2 or 3 days, you would surely have died. And that sentence went in like a rocket, and I went, shit, this is true. it's not that, boom, it changed my approach towards my mother, but I really, with these methods that one has, by watching your aversion, by accepting it, by seeing the suffering that I have because of that, I've been able I met Buddhism in 91, she died 2000. In these 9 years, I was able to have meetings with my mother in a totally relaxed way, thanks to these methods. But if my mother would have come with these methods and told me what I have to do, I would have thrown them out of the window, that's for sure. It had to be a neutral person, and I had to see, this is what I said, I really saw the truth in it somehow. I saw that this is possible to do. It might be difficult, and there's few things I don't like, but the interest to do it was there, and also the ability, because I didn't have to go back to the West. I just stayed in the East and stayed in India for 17 years to do retreats and to study this and all that. Yeah, but we cannot really force others to accept our whatever we want. But as you say, it hurts. But again, it's not the love that is hurt, it's the ego that is hurt who wants to help. Yeah. Actually, your love would say, look, my heart is open, I am trying, I wish her all the best, it's okay, good enough, and to let go. But the more that the ego comes in and wants her to be happy, the more they're suffering for you, and then the whole drama kind of starts. And your daughter, I don't know, you see there's so many, I'm not a psychologist, but there's so many games going on, like same way, you know, it's like maybe she's testing you, who know, on an unconscious way, an unconscious level. Will my mother accept me the way I am when I don't accept her the way she is? Maybe that's a way of children testing their parents, I don't know. You know, we don't know what kind of forces drive us to behave the way that we behave. But the thing is, for it to change, is that we have to let go of wanting control over the mind of others and over our own mind, and to relax with whatever is. You know, if I would have children, they would reject me. I would say, with what I know now, okay, they reject me, I get out of their way, in order for them to be able to relax. I do not contradict what they're saying. If they say something is kind of difficult, even though I think it's not difficult, I agree with them so that they can relax. To, as much as possible, make them relaxed. And maybe from time to time, just say, well, wow, what can I do? I'm sorry, but I really love you. Maybe that opens up something. I don't know. Yeah. But this is why, you know, one decides, as long as I still have this ego fixation and grasping here, I cannot really help others to be happy. Because also, we have all these tools that we want to help others. But can we apply these tools to ourselves that we're happy all the time? Cannot. So we start to see, when we try to apply them to ourselves, we start to see how difficult it is for the mind to change. Even Olna, you know, said, yeah, I'm telling myself these things. Are you happy 100% all the time? Never nervous, never anxious? Always open? No, exactly. So we start to... Yeah, we're trying, and we're trying kind of picking ourselves up again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Yeah. So the key to this is really relax, open, accept. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right order. I would put it in a different order. Open up. I think for me, the last few, I don't know how many days or months or whatever, the key word for me has become open up. Because if we want to accept something, we need to have space. And there's not much space in our mind because we want things to be like this. We have decided this is how my life should be, and then when it's not like this, control is always getting like narrow, tight, tense, and then the mind is not relaxed anymore. And the more the mind is relaxed, the more you know about Buddhism, the more you will be able to then apply these antidotes, like different thoughts. We change perspective, you know. Instead of seeing this negative emotion as a threat or an enemy, we start to see it as a friend or as a teacher. It shows me where I stand. And then, with time, when you hear about emptiness and all this, then you start to be aware of, you take, you know, either the emotion itself, the negative emotion itself, you try to take the story out of it. When you say, I hurt, you might be hurting now because we're talking about this. Okay? Maybe not, I don't know. But the hurt, behind the hurt is always a story. Yeah? So when you take the story away and you just focus on the feeling of being hurt, it does collapse. It comes back again. The story jumps in again and again and again. So that's one way of just kind of releasing the emotion into its nature as being impermanent and needing causes. And needing especially a fixation of I hurt. So we release it into its nature, and then with time, actually, when you have this ability, because it's a technique, you need to train that. The best way to learn it is by doing it. Again, you know, always go back to the mind, yeah. And then you can also look, who is holding that hurt? Who is hurting? What is hurting? I. Well, what is this I? And you try to find it, and all of a sudden we start to see there's nobody there. It's just open space. The more you look for it, the more you get confused what it is. First it looks very real. You know, when people hear this for the first time, that there is no separate I, they're like, what? Of course there is a separate I. But the more we study it and the more we look for it, the less you can find it, the more confused you are what this I is. And then the more it loses the grip over you. Yeah? Don't be afraid of confusion when it comes down to emptiness. Yeah? Be afraid of thinking that you know what this is all about. Then you know that and you still suffer, then you know that you haven't understood what this is all about. Yeah? And then we start to see these negative emotions, we start to look for them. Because every time you can kind of dissolve it into its nature, you get better and better at the technique. So you need them, like as a good surfer, you need waves. You know, if you don't know how to stand on your board, okay, it's nice to have a flat water kind of thing, ocean or whatever. But with the time it becomes very boring. Yeah. So when you have the technique, you don't have to be afraid of these negative emotions anymore. You actually take them as your path. And then you get very good at dissolving them, and you lose your fear of them. Okay? Olna, did you want to ask something?
Yeah, because I think I can't really understand what do you mean by releasing the story. How do you release the story?
By being aware of the sensation. When you are aware of sensation, you cannot think. You see what I mean? Try it out. I mean, when you feel hurt and you go to the sensation of feeling hurt and you stay there and you analyze it, you look at it, you are with the hurt, with the sensation, same as when you are with the breath. If you're really with the breath, you can't think. That's what I mean. You take the story out of it. Because the hurt comes, because why? Because we're talking about it, because there's a story. And then the hurt becomes very solid and very real, and the I who is hurting becomes very solid and very real. But the moment we start to take away the I, or the story, and with the sensation, it collapses very quickly. As I'm saying, it comes back because the thoughts come back.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah, it's not that you release it once and then it's gone.
You can recognize what is the story.
Hmm?
You can recognize what is the story,
Mm-hmm.
and to see if it's true. And you see it's a story.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well-
I recognize the story that I have to help her.
Yeah.
It's a story. You don't have to help her. She didn't ask for.
She doesn't ask for it. She's
So
24 years old, so you gave her good education, good enough. And you can still have an open heart, yeah? Because this whole thing about helping them to be happy is also somehow exerting control, because then they become dependent on us, yeah? But, you see, I want to finish with love first, and then we come to compassion. So now we talked a lot about desire and attachment. I think now you can see the difference between the love, which is, she's happy, of course I love her, she's unhappy, I still love her, it's okay. Yeah, that we accept beings as they are. That's the most difficult thing for us. Because we want to be able to help, and having to recognize that we can't is very difficult. Yeah. But when we see that we can't even help ourselves with these methods, how then can we help others who reject these methods? It's impossible. So the opposite of love is ill will. Ill will. Harmful thoughts. Love, the thoughts, may you be happy, may you be well. The opposite of it, you don't deserve to be happy. When we get nervous or upset, when we see somebody's happy, let's say, if it has happened, no, it has happened to somebody, so I can't use that example. If you, for example, you hear that the person that you had a business with, your partner, and somehow because they're more clever than you and more competitive, they kind of push you out, and you, although you made all the, the startup and all this was your idea, but they were able to, and you kind of end up with nothing. And you hear that the person is really successful, have become very, very famous, and everybody loves them, they think they're so great. And you hear that. Are you really happy that the person took your ideas? Because they're still your ideas, you had them, so you could still be happy about this. Yeah, and rejoice. Or would you have the wish, or at least the thought, how can he be happy and not feel guilty? Huh?
It's going to take a lot of time to do this.
To transform that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the things, it's so unjust, it's my ideas. And then there's this ill will, not wanting them to be happy. This is a closed heart, which is the opposite of love. He should suffer. He is not ethical. He took my ideas. As if, as if, now exactly, as if. Then we become very righteous, kind of. I would never do something like that. I always act in a very ethical way. I never hurt somebody out of aversion or greed or jealousy or whatever. Yeah, we behave as if, wow, I am totally clean and innocent here. And then, as a Buddhist, what's your name?
My name?
Yeah?
Yasmin.
Yasmin. As Yasmin says, what does it do to you when you hear the word Yasmin? Her daughter's name is Yasmin. You're like, oh. I could just see it. It's so sweet. Yeah, so maybe we give her a different name. See how much we kind of project into, it's just a name. There's many people who are called Yasmin, but no, they're not this. My Yasmin, down in hell. As Yasmin said, karma, exactly. This is where we can relax again. Oops, boomerang coming back. I haven't done this to anybody in this life, but definitely in a past life. So, how do I want to stop this happening? How? I have to stop doing it. I have to stop lying, I have to stop taking things that are not mine, and so forth.